A very good evening to you, and thank you for staying tuned to Y254 TV, the #1 youth station in Kenya. My name is Cheryl Blessing, and this is the Power Talk Show. This evening, I have a very interesting conversation for you. We want to find out what makes men mama's boys. We all know that those men who are very attached to their mothers, and we want to know why would that come about. Joining me this evening, I'm joined by the lovely Wayne Mwadhi, who is an engineer and a businessman. Karibu sana Wayne.
Asante.
And right next to him, we have Bimix, who is a performing artist. Welcome back, Bimix.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I want to get the perspective of the men today. I want to find out what will trigger someone to be very attached to their mom and become a mama's boy. And I also want to hear some of your comments. So please go on our social media pages at Y254. That is on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. We have made a post, and I want you to comment, give us your opinions, ask your questions. We will be sampling that later on in the show. You can also find me on my personal pages, which is at Cheryl Blessing, across all social media platforms, where you can engage with me and ask some of your opinions, and we will sample that as we proceed with the show. So, first of all, venye niko na wanaume hapa, I want to know, would any of you say that you're a mama's boy? Wayne, let's start with you. I like that reaction.
I get that of him. I don't know being raised with a single mom. So yeah, people have that opinion about, like, I'm more attached to my mom.
Okay, so people have the opinion that you're attached.
Yeah.
Do you think you're a mama's boy?
Okay, I like to think so. Like, I'm a mama's boy on the healthier perspective.
Okay. Now we will get more into that, because there's the healthy and the unhealthy, based on what you've said.
Healthy and there's an unhealthy part.
Okay. Bimix.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a mama's boy, because I've been raised most partly by my grandmother.
Oh.
My grandmother is, I can say she's a very strong, independent woman, and she's been looking after us for the whole time. I wouldn't say I'm a mama's boy, but at the end of the day, my mom has been doing everything for me, so I'm also mama's boy, but I wouldn't say in a negative way.
Yeah.
Sababu, at the end of the day, unarealize there's been a huge increase of single parents when unalea watoto wao. Na most cases unapatanga ni mothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Bimix, weni unaweza kuwa grandmother's boy.
Unajua grandmother's boy kuna spice flani, because grandmother's boy, they've been raised with so much love.
Yeah.
And then unajua grandmothers are always strict. So unajua discipline pale lazima imeangaliwa, in check, all that. But at the end of the day, I can say I'm my own man. Yeah.
Okay, we like that. You're your own man.
Yeah.
So Wayne,
Yeah.
you've just mentioned that because you were raised by a single mom, it has made you more attached to your mother.
Yeah.
Is that because you feel very protective of her, or is it because she's the only person you've had to lean on your whole life? Why would you say you're very, very attached to your mom?
I think she's more my security person. Like, I've not grown up in a mom peke yake, but because I've been raised with my cousins and another family setup, but I've grown more with my mom during my teenage years. So I've gotten to know her personally, and then we became so attached. Like, she's my best friend. So she's more of my security person, my go-to
like
guy
that.
person in case I have a problem.
And that's very well said.
Yeah.
She's your security, she's your go-to person, and that's the first person you'd think about in case you have an issue.
Yeah.
You'd think of, let me ask my mom for some advice.
Yeah.
I like the way you've put it. So, Bimix,
Yes.
tuulize, now that your grandmother played a major role in your life, do you think it has impacted the way you look at people? Like, will you have perceptions based on your grandmother's worldview? Has that affected you in any way?
Well, one of the things my grandmother and also my mother have taught me is, at the end of the day, there's a lot of opinions kwa hewa. Unacheki, kuna opinion on this side, kuna opinion on this side. Unazichukua zote, you sieve them. Unachukua ni gani unaona ziko constructive. Unajua at the end of the day we are all humans. Na si ati ni kila time ati we each give positive constructive criticism. So zingine inakuanga ni just biased. So at the end of the day you just siphon it, unachukua the yenye unaona iko worth it kuchukua, yenye iko na positive, yenye na kupush forward, and you go with that. Yeah.
Okay. And that's healthy because ukisha realize it's not just one opinion is everything, then you
because you know everybody's opinion ikona kila mtu, everybody has an opinion. That's the thing. Everybody has an opinion. Kuna mtu ako pale kwa street, ako pale kwa like this and this and this and that. Kuna mtu ako pale kwa nyumba yake akona this opinion of this and this and that. At the end of the day, huyu akona points, huyu akona points. At the same time, huyu kuna mali points zake zinacheza tricks. Na huyu pia points zake zinacheza tricks. So unasikiza zote. And then you just siphon it. Put it in a sieve. Unacheki. Usichukue kila kitu. Don't absorb everything. Unaangalia kenye pia una absorb. At the end of the day, you are your own individual person.
So what you're saying is basically utasikiza opinions za watu lakini wewe mwenyewe ndo una filter based on your own perceptions and your experience.
Exactly. Like my grandmother likes to say, anasemanga, I think anapenda kusemanga Waislamu kwanza unajifikiria kwanza wewe kwanza. You first. Think about you first as a person and as an individual. Ukianza kufikiria in that perspective, hautachukua opinions zote. You won't take them at face value. Utachukua, unakaa chini, siphon Kenya amesema, unaangalia inanisaidia ama hainisaidii. Kama haikusaidii, unaweka kando. Kama unaona iko na sense, you take it. Yeah.
That's true. That's very well said. So I wonder pia, because of the experiences that you've had, will you utakagua mtu based on venye uliona mamako Wayne? Like let's say you're looking for a girlfriend. Will you look for someone who has similar qualities to your mom? Ama utaenda the opposite direction?
Okay, they say like men, like sissy boys when growing up, we always choose like wale mademu wanaka, our moms. That's what people say. But kila msee kuwa na perspective yake. True. My case, growing up with mom, I learned like I have to have an independent girl who has her own morals and opinions. See that I'll be there every time to like give you advice and all that. Oops, ichomi lakini. But tunasema like I'm more inclined like to choose for a girl based on how my mom brought me, not like how my mom is. A lady will not provide for me at the end of the day. My mom provided for me, but my girl didn't provide. Yeah. But there are certain characters that I learned from my mom that nazaona 1, 2, 3. If my girl can have that, then that's basically what I want. So I'm more into character, but provision. Lazima kwa mwanaume pia wewe huwezi tegemea mwanamke all the time. So yeah.
So does that mean you also look at maybe some of the things that you notice your mom might have missed, like a man or a masculine figure to support her? So unaona akuwa na hiyo, so you'd want to provide for your girl that?
They kind of influence my thinking because like I don't want to have another family setup like the one I have had. So I'd like to have a better one. So I want to be the man of that family that I'm going to be in. So growing up, siwezi sema, just because mom had me alone, siwezi taka my kid to grow without a dad. I don't want to be a step-up father. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be the absentee father, but I want to be like there for my child's growth in each and every step. So, yeah. Okay,
that's really good. So it has influenced the way you would act in a relationship. You will say it has greatly influenced that.
Yeah, it has influenced my perception of relationships.
Okay. Now, Bimix, would you need the approval of your mother or your grandmother before you start dating someone, especially if you want to seriously date them? Will you take them first to your grandmother and introduce them to your mom and your grandma and ask, do you approve of her?
Well, before that tufika kwa mom and my grandmother, kwanza my heart has to beat in the first place. Tuanzie na hapo because streets of Nairobi is bad. It's dangerous, very dangerous. So at the end of the day, if I eventually find someone that I feel she's worthy and I feel we are compatible na, so by the end of the day for me, before I get a girl mwenye tunasema ni we can work, do something, I have to first of all see a future with her. Na niweza kuwa na a future with her, lazima kuwe msee akona her own sense of being. She's her own individual, and ikuwe msee mwenye ako rational. Unajua kuna watu wengine it's crazy, but at the end of the day tutampeleka kwa mom, tutampeleka kwa shosh, unacheki.
Yeah.
Eventually at the end of the day, because these are our folks and that tunataka blessings kutoka kwake, unaona. Si ati tunampeleka because of anything else, but tunampeleka for blessings, to receive blessings from our parents, unaona. Na for me venye nimelelewa, my folks are very open people. At the end of the day, wakiona ni msee ako sensible, they're very much okay. So hata it's not even a big deal.
Now what if they say no? What if ako sensible, ni mrembo, ako responsible, all these things, but maybe because of one or two things, mama kwa kwambia hapana, stuck you.
It depends on what is that one or two things. It depends. Unacheki. The one or two things inaweza kuwa kitu sensible lenye, because at the end of the day when you're in love, tunasemanga love makes you foolish. And some things unaweza kosa kuona. Na msee mwenye ako on another side nje anaweza ona something. Imanishi at the end of the day you uchukue yote, as I said, unachukua opinion, you save it, unaangalia venye iko. Unacheki kama ina make sense ama kama hai make sense. Unaona. So at the end of the day, although ni ngumu for her to say no, but in the event she says no, nitamuuliza kwa nini umesema no.
Utataka kujua.
I'd want to know, I'll question it, I'll ask mbona umesema no, kwa nini, anieleza ni kwa nini. Nikiangalia hizo reasoning nione kuna venye zina make sense, I'll try look at it from an outside perspective, niangalie nione. Nipige hesabu 1 2 3. But at the end of the day, I think I'll follow my heart and I'll follow my dream. I'll follow my own thoughts.
Okay. So inafanya kidogo, you're not entirely a mama's boy? Not
entirely, but at the end of the day, we've been raised by mom na grandma, and kuna kwanga aspect, you know, they say that mama's always right. Mom knows best. Atukatai, na at the same time asadi tuna agree, but tutamsikiza. We listen out of respect. Akikwambia unasikiza. Unacheki because ndo mtu amekuleta kwa dunia. She's basically your second god.
She knows you better than anyone else.
Your parents are basically your second god on this earth. So unafaa kuwasikiza, unawapea heshima, or you give them respect. So akiniambia no, nitataka kujua ni kwa nini amesema no. But at the same time I'm an adult. Kama the reason anya amesema no hai add up, tamwambia mom hapana. Hii Kenya ananiambia bado tricks.
Kusema nimechagua huyu.
Tricks, tunasema tricks kiasi hapa. But at the end of the day, I really doubt she'd say no. Considering venye, first of all, it's even hard. Roho ipige. Nimletee mtu. Atakuwa hallelujah.
Umekagua kabisa.
Atakuwa hallelujah.
Wayne, what about you? Do you need the approval of your mother for you to commit to get into a serious relationship?
No, I don't think so. Like, kwenye niko, I think I can make my own decisions based on how she's brought me up. So, like I said, I learned from her the good things and the bad things of life. So, me, like, kwenye niko nitachukua tu zile the characters that I want, and then decide, is it the right time for me to be in a relationship or not? Ukipata sana unalegea side ya mom kukubase whether it's right or not. Hapo ndipo like I brought up, there's a healthy part of being a mama's boy and the unhealthy part of being a mama's boy.
Yes.
So the healthy part is like your mom allows you to make your own decisions, but atakuwa hapo kukuadvise. But the unhealthy part is when my mom comes and tells me like an control to a point that this is the type of girl you're supposed to marry, this is the person that you're supposed to marry, at this age you're supposed to do this, at this age you're supposed to have achieved this. Now that becomes unhealthy. Lets me use like toxic. Na kwa more of a toxic part because like nika uko enslaved sasa. So frankly me I'm more in a healthy mama boy. So she gives me that chance. You go do what you want. But I just know I would na watch na I'll always be there to advise you. So she doesn't control my decisions that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you umesema it would be unhealthy if your mom dictates, because you ya kucontrol ni kama ana dictate maisha yako.
Yes.
Like I want you to date this person, I want you to do this, I want you to do that.
Yeah.
If there's the dictation, or maybe you yourself you're not your own individual person, then inakuwa unhealthy.
Yes, now that makes it inakuwa sasa unakuwa mama's boy on the toxic side kwa sababu the reason that inakuwa wanasema it's a little bit toxic kwa sababu it's controlling. Ikifika point yenye your mother basically controls you, that means now you're mother's boy. That's the negative side, as my friend is saying. Yeah.
Okay, so I also wonder, sasa tumefika, let's say you're already in a relationship with someone, ushajicommit, you've probably even introduced her to your mom. Would you tell your mom some of the things that you're dealing with? Tuseme kama you have problems or you're arguing, fighting, hata issues ndogo ndogo. Would you confide in your mom? Utaenda kwa mama kwa kwanza, Wayne? Ama utaambia nani? Who will you share your problems with?
I believe in finding problem solution between the two of us. Like, I'm more the type of guy like, if you have a problem with me, let's sit down, let's talk. But if you go behind my back and tell other people and then I come and hear like kutoka kwa B-Mix, nita feel vibaya because at first you never came and told me like, wewe umenikosea. So, as much as unaweza enda kuambia mom, then nitafika hiyo point ya kuambia mom zile shida niko nazo kwanza. I'll go if nimejaribu kuongea na wewe tumelemewa and I need a third party sasa kunisaidia like can we now help us negotiate this ama mediate this thing. But first lazima tukae chini tuseme babe hapo ulinikosea and I feel like 1 2 3 that is not going right. But kufika kwa mama ati kukimbia dakika mbili utaka mtoto. Sasa now that's the toxic part because like you're not your own man, you can't even make your own decision. Hapo ndipo utapata wife atakuwa zile za huyu na yeye kila wakati anasikizanga mamake, hawezi nisikiza. So to avoid all that, try be your own man, make your own decisions. Kaa chini tuongee ABCD. If it doesn't add up, we can try this alternative. Ikikataa, tunatafuta mtu, tunakaa chini, hebu tusaidie ulifanya nini in such a situation. Before ifikie mzazi, at least kuwa umejaribu kabisa kile meo unairudi.
So both of you mta agree, at B-Mix, you'll say that when an issue escalates, that's when you'd go to your mom?
Well, first of all, I believe no relationship will work. One of the key things, apart from just love, because love is not everything, kwa hiyo relationship there must be communication. Without communication, things go off. So before hata ifike to the point where ina escalate, unafaa kuanza kuidetect early in advance because you're communicating. Ndio ukicommunicate unaambia unakuja unaambia wife yako unamwambia hey babe, hii story na hii story kuna venye by the way haiko ni bamba. Umecheki. And you try to go at it in a positive manner. See you're trying to like raise a fracas. You're trying to get the solution. You're not looking at the problem. You're looking at how to get a solution to this problem. Unacheki. I believe at the end of the day communicate a relationship yenye mna communicate mtaweza kuiresolve. before hata ifike to those extremes. But let's say imefika point yenye imefika to those extremes, wife askizi, there's no communication, nini. I'd definitely ask my mother for an opinion, but haimaanishi I'd ask her for not her opinion, her advice. Haimaanishi necessarily her advice always has to be right, but nitasikiza advice yake, unajua, because she's a lady, I'm dealing with a lady. She might have another perspective to look at it, as that me as a man maybe nakosa kuona. Unacheki. Also necessarily si lazima ikuwe my mother. Naweza kuwa just unajua I can even talk to my grandma, because unajua she's very wise, but at the end of the day the decision is with me. Unacheki. Just because I'm seeking counsel from her doesn't at the end of the day make me a mama's boy. It just means that najua kuna shida na najua I need to get help. Unaona, that's the thing. Ukipata with toxic mama's boy situations, unapatanga they only go to their mom. But nitajaribu kusik other ways of help. Before nipate nimefika situation yenye nimefikia mom, labda nitaongelesha my people. Kuna wenye maybe in our peers, in our groups, nitamuuliza nini inaweza kuaje, nini inaweza kuwa imeleta shida hapa, before tufike to the point imefikia mom.
And I like what zenye metumia, you seek advice, you seek counsel from your mother. It's not like ye Kenya anasema ndo final say. Because sasa hiyo inakuwa
ikifika point Kenya anasema it's final, it's controlling. That's controlling.
And that becomes unhealthy. Okay, because you pia, one thing that we all know, when you have issues alafu ufikishe kwa mzazi, it changes the way your parent even views your partner. Because ata focus na shida, aone maybe this is a wrong person, nini.
Yeah.
So it's very smart that you're even saying like utapitia kwa marafiki zako or someone before it gets to the point where unaambia mzazi. Yeah. So that means nyinyi wote mnaweza relationship yenu independent from your mother. Like, would your mom have the key to your place and yana pop in?
Haifai kwa hivyo, because as a man you need to have your own space. You see, there's that thing about being a man. As a man, okay, necessarily I'm not saying that you need to forge your own path, but you need to have your own space. And if your mother doesn't give you that space, now that becomes extra controlling. So by the time you go to point and you have your own space, you get to, unajua, human is trial and error. Utafanya makosa, seek advice, rectify it, be better. When you know better, do better. Unacheki? But hapo katikati, so utachukua advice, lakini at the end of the day you have to make your own choices.
Ni wewe ultimately.
It's you. At the end of the day, kila mtu kwa dunia peke yake, hata kama tumezaliwa with our mothers, at the end of the day, your own life is in your own hands. Maisha yako yako kwa mkono yako. Your success, your prosperity it's all in your hands. So shouldn't let anybody take control of that.
So you maintain your independence.
Yes.
Wait, your mom wouldn't have the key to your house. Akiamua leo nakuja ni hivyo. Unapata yako jikoni.
Akiamua nakuja leo nanipigia kwanza. I don't know, but kuna katabia kako home. I don't think niko tu peke. Sijui kama niko tu peke, but you can't surprise anyone.
True.
I've tried.
Courtesy.
I tried to surprise mom ile kwenda home abruptly. Bwana nipigwa na butro. Nafika home, uko wapi? Mimi niko Nyeri. I'm like, niko nimekuja kuona. Narudi next week.
Initama courtesy. You just have some little bit of courtesy. Unampea heads up na mwambie, nakuja. Hata mimi my mother hawezi nishtukia. Unacheki? Hawezi nishtukia. Hata mimi nikienda home saa zingine sijakuwa home in a while. Siwezi shtukia hata kama it's my home. Sitashtuka, nitapigia wale msiakuka nimwambie cheki. Niko kwa njia nakuja. It's just
na kama hajali. What if your mom doesn't, whether you're there or not, she has the key. She'll come in, angalie kama umeka nyumba ikuwe safi, umosha vyombo, uko na chakula kwa fridge.
The real question is, why would your mom have your key?
in the first place before ifike point akaona key yako
Ndio swali.
inamaanisha you've so by the end of the day it was your nini mama's boy iko like she's controlling and then the man allow that aspect of allow it carry on. So before ifike point yenye your mother has your key ufai kumkubali.
So lazima uwe na boundaries kabisa.
Definitely at the end of the day you, as an own individual you have to have, as I said, your own space. Okay, have your own space, that means you have your own boundaries. And your maana, courtesy call. Just unamwambia cheki, I'm on my way. Si ati ni ile kwa ubaya you're going home, yes, but
ni courtesy tu, hawezi pop in leo naamka na kuja.
Wala kuja beta walikuwa wameleta chakula na labda umeingia na njaa.
Hawako. So I want to read some of the comments that we have. Then I want us to go on a short break. Alafu we come back and continue with this discussion. So this is from Facebook. We have Timothy Ngaira who says, good evening, I'm tuning in from Kitale. Thank you so much, Timothy. So the very last comment we have, say sign, Dennis, I hope I've said your name right. Count me in. Mariama, Eastern Kenya, juu boy child anajua, ata akitoka lazima mama mpe sahani. Not at long last, na at long last, huyo boy child akifika time apate jiko, wanajenga chuki pale nyumbani na the same mother. Okay, Bob K.E. says, we all love our moms, full stop. That is so true, Bob. Waweru wa keyboard says, Naivasha Mirema tuned in. Thank you so much, Waweru. We have Pevanks Wanyonyi Mandu, who says, niko ndani nikiwa Teremi. Thank you so much for watching us.
It's coming.
We have Boniface Simiyu who says, kusota. Boniface, kusota imefanya nini? Kusota inafanya ukwe mama's boy.
By the way, at the end of the day, unapatanga kuna ile aspect ya kama you cannot be independent by yourself. You're relying on your mother for everything.
Iyo lazima utakuwa mama's boy.
Inafika point because at the end of the day mom pia atafika amechoka, so atakuwa nakupea regulations.
Because you know, let's be honest, if someone is controlling your money, then they can control you.
Exactly.
So
sidhani kuna mali mama uchoka.
Wazazi uchoka like
lakini wewe bro
because raising a child
okay, sikuchoka
mama toichoka
lakini
mama toichoka
lakini bro
tuseme inakuwa financial burden. Let's
in African homes inafika na mahali as a man inabidi sasa uanze kujisimamia. Inabidi you have to start looking at how you're going to manage yourself.
True. And we have the last comment of a top fan who says he's King Mark Luther, who says Hakimi Ashraf can answer this. What's the question, King? Ndo hata sisi tujibu. But that is it. Those are our comments from Facebook. So endelea kutuma some of your comments and your opinions to us. We will answer them right after the break. Do not change the channel. Stay tuned. This is Y254 TV and you're watching the Power Talk Show.
Y254. Imagine.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. You are watching Y254 TV, the #1 youth station in Kenya. My name is Cheryl Blessing and this is the Power Talk Show. Now, before we went on a break, we were talking about what makes men mama's boys. And we just sampled some of your comments on Facebook. So keep sharing your comments, your opinions with us on Y254 across all social media platforms. That is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Sasa, before we went on a break, I was having a discussion with the gentleman here. And tulikuwa tunaongelea unhealthy ways of being a mama's boy and the healthy ways where you have your own boundaries and you're independent and you're a man of your own. So let's get into something more serious. Tuongele maybe investment, because now we're getting older and you have to think about like real estate, stocks. When you want to invest, will you go to your mom first for advice? Wayne, ndata kwa go to wako umuulize mom, advise me, where should I buy land?
Any tricky? The first time I did an investment, nilikimbia home. I was 19 the first time, so I went home. Kaambia mama, I found this opportunity na sikuwa nimejipanga hapa na pale, but I have this, can you top me up? She agreed. Tukafanya the first business, ikafail. Nikasikia vibaya. So over time nika realize like mom akaanza sasa kuni expose kwa hizi vitu sasa za investments. I was young then, but now nikaanza ku learn from my mistakes. So she's very good with real estates. So if I have any question about real estates, she's the go-to-go person. And then out of exposure, research, the internet, nikaanza kujifunza more on finances and investments. So nime grow, and then I got exposed to one of my mentors. I have a mentor who mentors me, so akanifunza more about finances. So before I make any investments, I always seek advice from mom because she has done most of them. And then tunasemanga, these older people have more advice kutuliko.
Experience.
Yeah.
So nataka kujua, have you ever tried this? Na kama ili try, what happened? Nikizisema, wacha njaribu kama kununua bonds leo. Naenda niangalie bonds. Niseme, mimi niko na like 100k, I want to invest in bonds. But sijui anything about bonds. So I'll go to the specialist in that field. How are bonds done? But pia I'll come back to the drawing board nione. Even mom, acha niulize mom nimwambie niko na hii 100k kama capital. What do you think is the best advice? Unaweza nipatie the best investment can? Me I have bonds, but maybe ako na idea yake. Na yake inaweza kuwa better. At the end of the day, you weigh the two ideas, just like B-Mix said, and then unachagua ile nzuri. Yeah.
Okay, so you will definitely get some advice from your mom.
Lazima nikamuulize. She's more experienced on that than
Before you
me.
make an investment, ni vizuri utafute advice. It's good to seek advice.
Especially the way you're saying, from someone who's more experienced, because obviously our parents have been doing this for so many years. Na pia, the way you said, you start something, you fail. They have experienced that. They have started businesses, they didn't take off, but wanna learn along the way. Okay.
And they
Sasa,
can guide you pia. Like, when you fail, so atakupatia like, how do you come back?
from
There's
that,
always setbacks. Kuna setback, najua, our generation ni, tuna hit setback, tunaingia depression. Na hii generation ya wazazi wetu ilikuwa, wana hit setback, wanakama na bounce back. So, mi sitaki kupigwa depression. I want to be that kind that setback, come back. So yeah, you learn from their mistakes.
and yeah, that's the distinction between the two generations. Because sisi tuko more softer. We do not want failure.
True.
Tunapenda success too throughout.
Hii generation yetu ni ile inataka fast success.
Yeah.
Inataka success right now.
Immediately.
Inataka nifungue biashara, kesho niko na customers kama wote.
Yeah.
Nacheki, and they forget that there's always that learning curve. Kuna always that process. Unacheki, there's always a process before you get to the point where you're looking at your dreams. Always that kunako ka journey.
And you have to take the journey.
And you have to take the journey.
And both of you, Nimona, like Wayne, you're a businessman, and then B-Mix, you're a performing artist. So both of you are doing things that require you to be very hands-on. They're very risky, and you have to put yourself out there. So B-Mix, umepata any kama shida within your artistry or with the creative industry, and you had to seek advice from your mom, and the only advice you could get yenye nakusaidia ni ya mzazi wako ama your grandmother. Have you had an instance like that?
Well, you know, I'm an artist, and most of the stuff that I know ni zile vitu nimekuanga nikiji, kama uko na passion with something, you have to know that you have to remain a student of the game. So I've been studying on my craft. Like kwa music, in music, there's the music business, and there's the music industry. Now this is information my mother ni ngumu kwa nayo. Unacheki? It's kwa sababu wacha my mother, the general public wanajua that's kuna tu music. Wajui there's the music industry, there's the music business, and as an artist you have to learn bits and bits. So for me, most of the time I try to surround myself with people in my creative space. Watu wenye wanaweza nipea advice, watu wenye tuko in the same path, at least huyu anaweza kuwa na such challenges na labda venye alizi overcome, inaweza nipea an insight on how maybe I can overcome mine. But at the end of the day, my mom amekuwa kido, she's a founder for International Women's Space. It's an NGO in Germany. And basically they advocate for human rights and more so heavily on women rights. Unapata ataitwa for kuongelesha watu, kupeana speeches and such. And mimi nikiweka in my perspective, ninaweza sema ni kama anaitwa gig. Unacheki, anaitwa show. So ataenda apeana speech huku, aenda aitiwa huku. So mimi I'd look at that aspect like. So unajua at the end of the day as an artist utakuwa unatafuta hizi shows, hizi gigs, akona experience ya kuhandle such stuff, ile design yenye handling brands and kudeal na such situations. Unacheki? So saa zingine nitakuja nimuuliza, hey ma'am, by the way, hapo uliduaje? Especially kwa branding nini, because International Women's Space is actually very big, you said, in Germany, and it's been doing really well. Last night they had a RightsCon convention in Costa Rica, and she was one of the speakers among big companies like in Google, like in Netflix. Our CEOs walikuwa wanapeana speeches at the same place my mama was also giving speech. So kuna aspect ya she knows how to be in such situations, such crowds. Mimi as an artist nita look at that aspect ya mimi ndio nitaita kama gig, ama performance, ama show, but it's not necessarily show. Yata tena peana speech, mimi tena niimbe.
But it's similar.
But it's almost similar.
Public speaking
exactly.
And performance.
So kuna some aspect pia nitamwambia, hey ma'am, abu, hapa kuna tips gani hapa na hapa. Unacheki, but at the end of the day, what I've been doing, it's like everybody's just always amazed because I'm like, hey Benix, how do you do this? Because I sit down, I research my stuff, I learn, I always remain a student of my game. Na ukijua, like in music, most artists wanakuanga like ile situation yenye wataenda waingie studio, wa record a song, wa post YouTube, and that's it. Wangoje wakayapa, wangoje magic happen. And it doesn't work like that. Unacheki, before to uingie kwa studio as an artist and as a serious artist, unafaa kujua venye ingoma at the end of the day, how will I push it? How will I market this? Unacheki? And ndo uweze kujua how you're going to move the next step. You just have to keep learning. You remain a student of the game. And at the same time, unaangalia nini unalearn. So this is information my mom wouldn't have, but kuna aspects zinapelekana.
Contribute.
Kuna aspects
so the first go-to, you even mentioned that earlier, Wayne, is someone who's professional, someone who's in the industry that you're in, ama kama ni investment kenye unafanya ndo you seek advice from a professional, then mzazi itakuwa like additional information.
Yes. At the end of the day, mjua ni ngumu, I think ni ngumu sana mama kupea advice zenye zitakulead in a bad way. At the end of the day, I think it's really hard unless your mom is maybe sarcastic. I don't know.
Equal humor.
I don't know, maybe.
But there are people who, quite honestly, we are fortunate to have good mothers.
Yes.
But there are people whose mothers are horrible and they aren't present or
true. It's so true.
What when you are positive. So there are people who experience that, and it's very unfortunate. So kwanza, before we get to what when probably they do not have the good mothers who can support them and be with them. Both of you mko kwa industry enye it's like engineering is male dominated, and even with business it's very male dominated. Women are just taking up space right now, and even with the music ni wanaume, especially in Kenya, it's the men who are controlling the industries. So do you think the way you were brought up kama we Wayne, would you be better? Like we have toxic masculinity and yet people are just wanajiona mimi ni mwanamume, hawezi niambia kitu. So has the way you've been brought up helped you deal with situations like that? Ama ukiwa na marafiki zako, some colleagues and whatnot, has it made your perception different from other guys?
The question is toxic masculinity in my field.
Yes. Now I'm wondering, or I'm asking rather, venye mamako amekulea, has it helped you deal with toxic masculinity or avoid toxic masculinity? Or bado, because of the industry, kuna influence kidogo?
Kila mali kuna influence. Let me not lie. Ni kugumu kunje. If you don't have your own principles, mtu atakuza kuambia like men do this. See, like there's how you are brought up believing like men are the providers and they don't listen to women. So now the chauvinistic society,
Yes.
like male were in dominance, like the women are supposed to be, the traditional woman was supposed not to even ask questions. No.
Yes.
Sasa ukiingia field kuna watu kama hao bado. Unfortunately and unfortunately we are working with the generation ya our parents and now generation Z ndio tuko market. Unajua sisi tumegrow respecting each other's opinion. So siwezi kuja niambie like if I have a female colleague na tuko the same level, hakuna fact point hatawai kuwa like mtawai muandamine ama nafaa kumdemean. But in the other setup, I don't know if they will agree or disagree with me, but kuna venye the guy was the final say, hata kama mko the same level. So I was brought up has really helped me up and I can shape kukua my own man. Yeah, there's the idea of toxic masculinity and then there's also the idea of masculinity. So I tend to believe I'm more of a masculine guy rather than being toxic. I'll listen to it.
So it has really helped.
Yeah,
Izo
it really
some
helps.
of the toxic ideologies haziko
Yeah.
hapo. Now Bimix, I wonder with the music industry, especially because I know you're a rapper and he recently dropped an album, by the way, which is so good. Industry yenye uko wanaume wanakuanga like they're real men who talk about gang stuff and demean women and you know with all the vulgar words and everything. Venye umelelewa na grandmother wako imesaidia hata with your lyrics, your performance, your artistry in general, ama have you become more influenced by the industry and the people who are already in the industry?
Well, I can say at the end of the day, ukigrow unajua kila home iko na kuna venye tu you're brought up. And at the end of the day, it adds to your personality. And that's why utakuja ukiangalia with my songs and my lyricism, it's very hard I bring in vulgar stuff. It's very hard. The only way I can I'm trying to think of how I can bring it, but but the only way that I can bring it is if I'm trying to pass across a message. It's not just to unacheki. Like yes, it has definitely influenced how I'd do my music. Kwa sababu nikienda kufanya my music, I'd try at the end of the day to be respectful to our mothers, to our women.
Because you
and
want
our
music
ladies
that you
and
can
our
play to
girlfriend and
your
our
mom.
sisters. And acha nikwambie kitu funny by the Cheryl. Most supporters in Madem. Because Madem watakusupport more heavily than actually guys would. Unacheki, they're more likely to pull up to your shoes. They're more likely to support and engage with your stuff. Unaona? So at the end of the day for me, itabidi niki make my music in as much as I'm a man, I try to do something that my fans watapenda. Na unajua kuna venye nitafanya kitu iko inawatusi. Haita make sense. And that aspect imekuja from me being brought up and taught how to respect a woman. Unaona? So at the end of the day, hata kwa my lyrics, I try to respect. Kila mtu unampea heshima yake. Just give them their respect.
And we need more music like that, especially in this day and time, because here we have the younger generation who are also listening to music and they're focused on entertainment. So tuambie, where can we find your music? Ndo tuwasikize.
You can find, actually, camera yangu ni gani? My people.
This is your camera.
So, so you can find my music out exclusively on Boomplay. Ilitoka on May 22nd. It's the album I've been promoting for the whole while. It's currently out on Boomplay. Ukifika pale kwa YouTube pia utacheki a couple of videos. It's gonna be out kwa every other platform later on, but I'm kind of working on something. Kuna kitu I'm working on.
We stay tuned. So please mtafute kwanza, because we need to listen to more empowering music. I value women empowerment so much, and that's partly why Momma'S boys pia wako ideal, because the way they treat women is different than mtu mwenye ako alilelewa na wanaume, African traditional men. We all know.
I don't know why men tuko in situation yenye society na kwanga imetokea bracket fulani yenye men don't cry, men don't show emotions. Unacheki?
Yeah.
And that adds to the masculine toxicity. Na bado iko na hiyo aspect ya being mama's boy, so unafika point when you're being controlled, unaambiwa wanaume waliangi. Unacheki? Unakaa nguvu, unakufa na your depressions and stuff. And at the end of the day, if you just opened up to someone, express your emotions, it might have helped. Lakini sasa tumeambiwa wanaume unakaa ngumu, na tunajaribu kukaa ngumu, at the end of the day unapata. That's why most cases of suicide inakuanga ni wanaume, kwa sababu wako hapo, they're locked in with their mashida, wanaingia na depression. Unapata it's more kiangalia ratio men to nini.
Actually the suicide rate, wanaume they are more than the women.
Exactly. Sababu wanaambiwa wanaume unakanyangilia
usiseme. When wewe ukiwa na marafiki zako, do you open up, as in because of your mom or the way you were raised, do you feel comfortable opening up to your friends? Ama wanaume wenzako watakuangalia washindwe?
Si kila mtu talk.
Nilizoea kuongea. Let me not lie.
Yeah.
I talk. True. If I trust you, if I allow you my space to a point that tunapata na share na wewe, ile siku utanitoka kitakuramba. But the thing is, growing up with mom, I learned to talk.
True.
That's the best gift in Shaibata.
Growing with your mom, you learn empathy. You learn to show emotions.
Because women are expressive.
Women are very expressive. So unajua they'll show emotions, and the process you learn to show empathy. And it allows you to open up. And
so you feel very comfortable wewe kushare. If you're dealing with something, you'd sit with your friend and be like, hey bro, by the way, kuna investment imeenda wrong.
Kuna mali imeniramba.
Na mali kimekuramba, lakini at the end of the day utaambia kila mtu, but kuna those specific people.
Yeah.
That's why I said like kuna wale achoko kwa
your inner circle.
That's where I will talk. So talking by the way itakusaidia mental health. I advocate for men's mental health a lot, because history of depression, Gen Z tuko so weak and we suffer a lot from depression because we don't talk.
True.
So you'd rather do drugs than talking. So I'd rather
which is
talk.
Unhealthy. Huh? Which is unhealthy, like opting to drink, sherehe, women. It doesn't help at the end of the day.
Yeah, your point of Gen Z. Gen Z is really...
We are struggling, but we
try. Because at the end of the day, we have different challenges than generation yenye ilikuanga before us. At the end of the day, we are in different circumstances. No maana unapatanga usipata situation yenye mnakaa chini unaongea na maybe your dad ama your bigger brother anakuambia nikiwa high school monetization ilikuanga unafanywa hivi na hivi na hivi.
Unashindwa hizi
unaona zilikuanga extreme. Alafu ukicompare with your own situations pia iko na extremity yake,
but it's not the same.
It's not the same. But ukipata maybe your younger siblings, younger bros, anakuja na kwambia situation yake, unaona ni very trivial. Kwa sababu uko like ile in our days zile vitu zilikuwa zina happen, zilikuwa zinakaa hivi. But to them it's actually extreme. Kwa sababu
that's what they know. That's the reality.
Different times.
Yeah.
So we try venye tuko tu.
So I want to sample some of your comments, Pia. This is still Facebook. We have Henry De Jong who says, I'm right there with you, tuned in from Naivasha. What makes men mama's boy is the relationship between the two parties and the bond they have between them. That is very true. Thank you so much for that, Henry. Pediwasadam Mtheka says, Theka tuko ndakas. Thank you so much, Pedi. Then we have Orokwo Victor who says, good evening. Nikondani kama kawa matu locked in. Thank you so much. We have Dij Bright who says, what makes men a mama's boy? Not all men are mama's boys, but it all depends on how the relationship and the bond between the two of them is. Sometimes there is divine connection more than any other boys. Perhaps mama has a person who they can fight and easily they'll forget and move on in a twinkle of an eye. There's some of the things you can note from mama's boys. There is truth in that because the connection is different for everyone.
True.
Then we have the Runway who says, always support my bro. Big up Wayne. I love that he sets the pace. Wayne, uko na mafans. Thank you so much.
That's my brother.
Oh, that's your brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching us. Then we have Honorable Stephen Koech who says, good evening, tuning in from Nandi, Kaptumo. I love the show. Thank you so much. We have Tony Wills who says, Mam muhimu kwa life, but boundaries ni muhimu pia. We totally agree with that statement.
Yeah.
We have Timothy Ngaira who says, good evening, I'm tuned in from Kitale. I think I read that comment before, but thank you so much for all the comments that we've been getting. We truly appreciate you. But now we want to wrap up this conversation. What we've taken away is boundaries ni muhimu. You have to really respect your mom and also the mental health aspect. So maybe I can get some final comments. I can start with you, Wayne. Tuambie your parting shot. That's your camera. Yeah. Talk to us. Tuambie kitu. Will you encourage people to be mama's boys? Is it healthy? What would you say?
Okay, I'm Wayne. I'm a student engineer at Technical University. I'm also a business investor and also the director at 30 Under 30's podcast. Okay, tumekuwa hapa, tumeongea kuhusu the healthy and the unhealthy perspective of being a mama's boy. Na frankly, kila mtu ako na take yake. I will not advise you, sitakwambia go this way. You go wait for yourself. Go be your own man. Go listen to other people's opinion. But at the end of the day, it's you who makes and sets the pace for yourself. On mental health, wanaume tuongeeni. Just open up yourself. Now, I love my mom because the best advice when niko kwa ngori kabisa, the first advice naambiwanga we kuja home. Sijui ni solution aje, but it always works. The first thing, I'm in a problem, we kuja home, tutasort. So in any way, ukiwa na shida, your parents will always be there for you. And thank you for hosting me, by the way.
You're welcome. It was lovely to have you.
My pleasure.
Now we can hear a parting shot from BMX. Talk to our viewers.
Question ilikuwa gani?
Tuambie a final word, like our advice for people who are watching you. Take away nini? Wakue mama's boy, wakue healthy, wasikuwe na relationship strong sana na mama yao.
Well, what I'd say is, at the end of the day, having a healthy relationship with your mom is a big plus. It's a really big plus because I don't think utapata anyone who would love you the same as your mother would. Kuna hiyo aspect. Unajua, your mother will always give you advice yenye to help you. Ni ngumu akupe advice yenye itakulead to nini. So it's good to have that relationship with your mother. Open up, as my friend said. Open up, ongea. Wanaume tuongee tafadhali kwa sababu tunanyamaza sana alafu you end up unasikia kiasi tuko matanga tunachangia nani amefanya hivi na hivi na hivi, so it's not good. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm an artist, I'm a performing actor and quite a couple of stuff, but I have an album out currently on YouTube and on Boomplay, so make sure umefika pale, check out Throne the album by BMX KE official. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very good as our parting shot. Nita Wachana, one quote, it says, "A mother's love doesn't make her son more dependent and timid. It actually makes him stronger and more independent. Your mother's love will elevate you to levels that you never thought you could get to, because your mom believes in you more than anyone else will." And for those of us who don't have mothers who are supportive, it's very unfortunate, but there are still people out there, friends, family, who would be willing to stand with you the same. So a repeat of this show will happen tomorrow at around 1 p.m. So stay tuned. You can also find us on YouTube at Y254. Search for the Power Talk Show and you will find a repeat of this show. Thank you so much for staying tuned. My name is Cheryl Blessing and this has been the Power Talk Show.